So, Troy, cultural blends. What's that all about?
Cultural blends. Cultural blends derives from my mixed ethnic heritage. My father is Native American. He's from here. We're part of affiliated with Grand Ron. And my mom's from the island of Guam. She's Filipina. So that's where cultural blends comes from. What it means to me is when you learn about other people's cultures that are different than your own, you find nothing but a lot of commonalities. It's within those commonalities that I believe really brings people together. So that's what the brand is, and that's what the brand means to me. We're a clothing brand, apparel and accessories. We started on the Big Island of Hawaii. I was going to school out there, University of Hawaii Hilo, and it was kind of like the last year of my college there, of my undergrad. My best friend was like, "Hey bro, you want to start a clothing brand?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." And so we started this brand, and honestly the premise was just to create products for the Hawaii people. But he was from San Diego, I was from Portland, and so we wanted to bring this West Coast feel, streetwear to the island, which, over there, especially on the Big Island, it's very slow. So they're always like, 10 years behind, let's say LA fashion, which is maybe like 5 years behind New York fashion. So we were kind of bringing a streetwear presence to the Big Island, which wasn't there at the time. And our whole thing was like, if we can start this clothing brand, I feel like we're two dudes that were cool enough where we could, get girls to model for us and just like, meet girls out where, whatever. Because, back then, this is like era 2011 where, starting your own clothing brand was like really something. And not that it isn't now, but like back then, I think it was a little bit more hype to do so. But yeah, that's how we started. And we started making shirts, making like Hawaiian principle shirts, like the Aloha Spirit, things of that nature. And we would make it, but we would do it with like this West Coast vibe, and people really ate it up over there. We would used to sell it at the farmers markets. We used to sell it above the cafeteria on Wednesdays, and I used to sell them out of the back of my Honda Civic at the beach. And we were just selling T-shirts, just like grassroots, and it ended up my best friend got a job, an actual job, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just not going to do the cultural blends thing anymore." So then I just took it over, and like I said, this was at the last year of my college there. So I knew I was going to be coming back here to Portland. So I wanted to create a product that had a big demographic, and at that time, like Portland-based brands, they would just come and go. People would make shirts that said Portland on them, and we'd have like the City of Roses, or anyways, it would just be like Portland things, but they didn't have really much longevity, and so I wanted to create something that had a big appeal, and this shirt really, it covers the entire West Coast. And for me, when people talked about the West Coast, they'd always talk about California. They'd forget that we're up here in Oregon and also in Washington. And my whole thing with cultural blends is like we're trying to bring people together to, you're trying to find commonalities within different things, because for us, that's how you like create unity between people. And so, it's Washington State, it's Oregon, the state of Oregon, and then the state of California, but the one thing that they all have in common is it's the 3 states that make up the West Coast. So when I made the shirt, I originally made it to say the West Coast, but then after a couple weeks of like showing it to people and then getting some feedback and stuff, I was like, I'm gonna give this like a big uppercut punch. I'm gonna call it the Best Coast. And then from there, like, the rest is history. We've had reposts from, celebs, like Nate Robinson wore our t-shirt and our tank top. Snoop Dogg's reposted a Photoshop photo of himself wearing one. And we've gotten some cosigns from some, celebs and athletes and stuff just from this shirt alone. So it's definitely been our bread and butter, and it's one thing that people know us by.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So, you think you'll move into like other things like jeans and hats and?
Yeah, so we have headwear. As far as like the Best Coast is concerned, it's probably gonna put it on some headwear relatively soon.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, but we do have other products and stuff. This is just the one that really has allowed us to keep eating.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what you eat off.
That is, yep.
Your bread and butter.
It's allowed
right?
me to not have a job. So we've been in
It's
business
dope.
now for 7 years. This shirt's been out for 5+. And,
Wow.
Yeah, Oh, am I gonna go into jeans? Am I gonna go into other apparel? What I really want to get into is kind of more like classy, like casual men's. So like I've always had a thing for button ups because you can wear them like you could dress it down or you could dress it up. I've always been interested there. Am I gonna get into it? I'm not sure. What are things that I am interested in? You know, I'm honestly not sure on that question. We'll see how it goes.
That's dope. So, gonna see some billboards going up soon. Cultural blends.
You know, that'd be tight. I've seen some Amine, the rapper, he put up a billboard in the city.
Yeah. I just seen that the other day.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was a funny one, right? Who else?
There are black people in Portland.
Yes, there are black people in Portland. Yeah.
Where?
Right.
No, sir. I stay in the villa, so you know what I'm saying. I see a few, but I know they're all out in Gresham and stuff. All that gentrification, you know, moved everybody around.
Right.
It sucks, man. Because like you know what I really liked when I went up to Washington, it was like so many Asians. I just felt so good. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you don't see any. You don't see any here. And they're, if you do, they're like all out, like in Beaverton. You know what I'm saying? And they all like be uppity and shit, like work in doctors' offices and shit.
But yeah, Southeast, bro. There's a ton of Vietnamese, Filipinos, Laos, Mian people. So
true.
We just stay in kind of like, you know, the little.
Right. Oh yeah, they were gonna make that the new Chinatown or something out there.
Chinatown,
okay. Yeah, I know they got like that Japanese school out there and stuff like that. I wanted to put my kid in that, but yo.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, we're in this. Right now we're at Lloyd Center. Just for people that haven't like figured this out yet, we're at Lloyd Center Mall, and you know this is a pop up. This is day 12 that we're in this pop up. What Lloyd Center is trying to do is really bring the community back, because if you guys are familiar with this mall used to it used to be the cool mall.
Yeah.
You know, people used to shop here. People used to like kick it here.
Yep.
And
I'm a mall rat. You ain't got to tell me.
Right. And you know, over the past few years, because of Amazon, the internet,
exactly,
and,
killed it.
Just like whatever, like it's gone downhill. And so what Lloyd Center is trying to do is they're trying to fill empty, vacant spaces with local vendors, because the way they think is like, if we continue to try to get corporate stores into the mall, then people are just going to continue to come to the mall less and less. But what they're trying to do is change the perception of what you think of when you think of a mall, because if you have like local vendors, like local businesses, like breweries and things, instead of just getting a mall experience where it's always been the same. You have Claire's, and you have a PacSun and a Macy's, and even a Nordstrom's. Like, it's all the same thing that you can get at any mall. But what Lloyd Center is trying to do to survive is bring in these local people so that you can actually get a Portland experience when you're at the mall, instead of just getting a regular fucking mall experience. So when I heard that pitch, I was like, I'm all for it, because I like underdog stories for one, and I also like revitalization of things.
Right.
It's kind of in my Native American like DNA. Is like
definitely
restoration of things is kind of what I fight for. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, bro. So I'm here till the December 31st. I'd like to stay longer, and yeah, if you're watching this, man, come through. Second floor, right by the Hollister and Honey Baked Ham.
Yo, you gotta come support, man, because this man's the truth. He's coming up for nothing. How much? What did you have to go through? Like, you want to share like some stories or a little bit about some of the struggles, or
sure.
What do you have to do to get, like, do you have to go study, or is it just something that you just got into, or did you actually study design and stuff, or marketing?
I didn't study design, bro. It was just kind of like, I didn't study anything. It was just, honestly, it was a hustle. Like, my thing was, I used to go to the farmers markets, and I used to sell on Saturdays and Sundays, and then I would sell sometimes on Tuesdays, because this is still in Hawaii. On Tuesdays, the Norwegian cruise ships would come once a week, and they would funnel them right to the farmers market. So you would get people. It wasn't like a huge amount of people, but if you set up on Tuesdays, it was such a random day that you could pretty much set up for free. So that was a good day. But it was Saturdays, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So I'd work 4 days a week, and then I learned how to I learned how to utilize the internet, because that's when, like, Big Cartel was kind of like, everyone was jumping on that. And I learned how to utilize my social media channels to funnel sales. And so, it took a lot of just trial and error, and that includes like everything from learning how to use social media and everything that entails, but also like creating products, bro. Like the first three shirts that I put out were fucking doo-doo. Like they were no good, and I printed 50 at a time because to get the good, like, you know, rates or whatever for screen printing, because I wasn't printing them myself. It was like you had to get a bulk amount, and one of the price breaks was at 50 shirts, and my whole thing was like, you know, if I can get, you know, to me, I thought I could sell 50 shirts because it didn't seem like a lot. I was like, oh yeah, I got X amount of friends, and I know they'll support. And even if I don't sell them for full price, they'll even buy them. And you learn real quickly, like, damn, 50 shirts. Like, if you ever like sold T-shirts or had a clothing brand, like selling 50 T-shirts is much harder than you think, because you could sell 8 shirts. That's a lot. Like, people, they have to come. You have to meet them, or they have to meet you, or something. But 8 people first have to even like it remotely, the product that you make. But yeah, man, it was just a lot of trial and error. But like when you have something that works, it's like you just gotta like double down on that. And for me, I have, and I've doubled down on it. Like probably like I even tripled down on it, and it's allowed me to not have a job for the past 6 years, but also you know, in doing so, it's like, have I oversaturated the market with this product? That's a real thing. Like, you know, in the Asian community of Portland, like this has lost a lot of relevancy. In the beginning, the Asian community is the one that really put this on in Portland, because that's who I sold to. I sold it out of my garage, and it was all the Asian homies that would come through and they would copy it, and they would wear it, and everyone would be like, it was so underground at the time because we didn't really have much of a presence, that especially coming from Hawaii back here, that people were like, you know, where the fuck do you get this? And people would be like, the people that knew would be like, oh bro, it's this garage. It's right on 82nd Street across from Eastport Plaza, and it's like this dude's house, and you know, that's where. And at the time, it was actually my girlfriend's mom's house, and I was just like headquartering my business in the garage. But
that's dope.
Yeah, bro. But now it's like, yeah, it's big in the car community. It's big in the Latino community, because there's Latinos in the Northwest. They either had to fly over California, or they had to drive through California. So it's part of their migrational route. But it's just interesting finding different niches and stuff. But we have a lot of new products that are coming out, and that really speak on what cultural blends means. That thing that I was saying in the beginning is like, you know, really bringing people together. That's the ethos of the brand, is finding the commonalities between differences, and everything that I have to create moving forward has to speak on that message. So that's what is happening in the future.
That's dope. Yeah, I think it's important that the Asian community and well, basically all minorities here get representation, because especially with gentrification and throughout the history of the Northwest, they haven't been too welcoming. Well, I think more Seattle, but I've you know, after hearing about and being up there for a while, but hearing about the history up there, they weren't too welcoming either. But like in California, they brought them out to build the railroads. Same thing out here. They had Aloha or Aloha, whatever they call it out here. But that was, you know, turned into like, it was supposed to be where like the Asians were and the Islanders and stuff. But then they got rid of those, and they, you know, made them a what is it? Made it like a, you know, uppity community or whatever. But like, you know, with gentrification, they pushed all the minorities everywhere, and you know, wherever was the hot area, they would you know, kick them out of there.
Buy up the property.
Like let the you know, the community go into disrepair, and they wouldn't give them loans to fix their property and their streets.
Yeah, there's a big history of racism in Portland, but also in the entire state of Oregon, and it goes back to, you know, the days of you know, all the native people, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They got screwed hard.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I'm kind of like, you know, I'm riding the fence between two worlds. Like, I have this native background on my father's side, and then also like an Asian background on my mother's side. So it's interesting because it's like two angles that are both uphill battles, but it's like I get this perspective of both. But and I do see a lot of similarities in a lot of ways. between them, especially being Filipino, because it's different than, you know, if you were one of like the traditional like Asian, like Japanese, Chinese, Korean, because even that comes with like, you know, like lighter skin and like, but then Japanese people, like they had their, you know, in American, you know, atrocities. So
Oh yeah. My
yeah,
grandma
bro,
had the
just-
bombs dropped on her.
That's right, man.
And then she came over here and she was put in the internment camps after she married a GI.
That's right.
The marriage was null and void, and then he had a whole white family.
Right.
And
Just because
he
they were
would take care.
Japanese and it was like
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah, he would take
Fear.
care of them, and they got everything good. But then my grandma had to go work in Smith and Wesson, back in Springfield or whatever. And
Dope.
yeah, well, I mean, she was slaving in the factories for, you know, just to support this. You know, she had to pay for the house and everything, like, because he abandoned them.
Yeah.
But he would get drunk and come home and beat the crap out of him, do whatever, and then go back to his good white family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so messed up. And then like, I don't know, but like, it's so, like, people here, they find little things and they just kind of like, just I don't know, they make them big things, or they know how to get at you. And instead of this, that's why this is important, and that's why I bring that up. And I know I go off on tangents and stuff, but this is talking about some real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, you know, hey, these sneakers are coming out or whatever. I mean, and this is a dope clothing brand, but I dig that, you know, this is why I wanted to put you on camera, because you're a real cat, you know, and I could see that from jump. And I'm from back east, and like, I don't know, I keep saying that, you know, like it means something, and people don't know that don't know, you know what I'm saying? But there's a lot, like, people like don't like people from Mass because we tell it like it is. We're massholes. And I, you know, I wear that on my sleeve like a badge of honor, you know. But you know, we're lovable, you know, well-meaning assholes. Oh shit, I'm running out of time on the recording, so I'm gonna get like some pictures from the store now. You know, this is a payoff here, because this is like some dope shit here.
Let me turn some music on.
Yeah. But you know, I really want to thank you, man, for taking the time
Of course,
to come on my little rinky dink channel.
Hey, man, like,
We all got to start somewhere, man.
Bro, that's right, bro. That's everything. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't forget. And for me, like, the last couple of years, I thought I was almost too good to show up to these events, like these, you know, like street fairs and stuff. Because I was trying to wholesale the product and do the back end of the business, and I was like, look, I've been doing this for like 5 years now. Like, the brand's established, people know it locally. I got a little bit of a buzz, you know. Everyone, like, when I walk into like the club, people are like, oh, that's like what your friends do, like da da da. And so I'm like, man, I don't need to be doing this. I need to be focusing on the back end of the business. But like, it's really what I've learned this year, and it's mostly the second half of this year, is you know, showing up to the event, having conversations with people and stuff, and just being out there where people can even just be transparent to people. And plus too, like when you go to events, you always make sales, so it's like, and I was just trying to do the like hide behind the computer thing, and all